Hello, Weekly Piano here. Now this is a video for classical pianists who want to learn how to play jazz. If you're going to get something from this video, you should already know all your major and minor scales. You should know your basic dominant chords and inversions, but what you shouldn't know how to do yet is improvise. A lot of classical pianists know a ton of repertoire. They can play up and down the keyboard in all sorts of different ways, but the songs are in muscle memory. So when it comes to improvising in a jazz context, you just don't know what to do. This video will hopefully help to clear some of the mystery behind what goes into that improvisation and how you develop a vocabulary and a musical sense, both rhythmically and melodically, to function in a jazz setting. Ideally, if you go through everything that I described to you in this video, you'll be able to play at a basic professional level. You'll be able to go to jam sessions and hang with the people there and begin your journey towards a higher level of excellence in jazz. So these are the basics for a classical musician. The things I'm going to go over in a series of videos that I'll be doing sort of in sequence after this video are rhythm, the blues progression, comping patterns, 2-5-1 progressions, soloing. Now, in soloing, we'll be doing rhythmic and melodic elements, and in different ways. I'll give you some exercises to do that, to really get familiar with it. We're going to go over upper extensions, and then we're going to go through some jazz vocabulary, and we're going to specifically focus on enclosures, because when you get into thinking about musicality, jazz is built on enclosures. You combine with a melodic sense, and then in the context of harmony and rhythm. We'll also go through motivic development, building something out of the context in which it is and saying something with that context. And then, very last but not least, I'll show you how to make a practice schedule and kind of give you some guidelines on how much of all of this you should do and how to sort of organize it. Right now in this video, I'm just going to give you a little taste of each of those elements. So for rhythm, we're going to talk about the roots of jazz going back to, it goes back further than this, but if you look at the Count Basie Orchestra, that will give you a very clear picture of how to treat rhythms in a basic jazz setting. Your on-beats and your off-beats and the variations that you'll have with that. We're going to also go through some Oscar Peterson stuff, and I'll show you what to listen to. But rhythm, basic jazz rhythm, it'll be like. So I did that over a blues progression. Now that's the next thing we're going to go over is the blues progression, which is 1, 4, 1, 1, 4, 4, 1. Then you could do 6 to 2, 5, 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. There are variations of that. I did a little tritone substitution at the end of that, which maybe we'll go into that. I'm not quite sure yet. So the blues progression, we're going to go through comping, and the main comping pattern I'm going to want you to do is just 4-note voicings, and it's generally, you can describe it as drop 2, but there's a way of structuring your chords into 4-note voicings that will give you a beautiful sort of wide landscape, and it'll be nice for people to play over. It's not too crowded, it's not too clustered, but you are also giving the full breadth of the chord, so you can hear the quality of the chord. One example would be, if you're going to play C minor, that's your C minor 7 chord, right? And maybe make it a C minor 9 chord, so take away the 1 and just do 3, 5, 7, 9. But then maybe take the 5 and move it down there, and the 9 and move it down there, so you have like that. that's a good C minor chord, C minor 9 chord, or that's a good C minor 9 chord, that's an F, a good F chord, D diminished to G altered, and I'll go into that in much more detail when I actually do the comping video. We're going to go through 2-5-1 progressions. Obviously, that's just the 2 chord to the 5 to the 1. Now, when you're going through the 2-5-1 pattern, you'll want to use the comping patterns that I will show you in the comping video, and then there are all sorts of other places that you can go with the 2-5-1 progression, but that's the basic root of it, and then I'll show you how to stem from that root to make it like a 3-6-2-5-1, which is basically just 2 2-5-1s stacked on top of each other, like 3-6-2-5-1. Now we're going to go into soloing after that. So we're going to start with rhythmic soloing, which is like a call and response, and I'll just do an example on one note. Rhythmic element of your soloing, which is you have a rhythmic motif, which is a call, and then something that answers that, which is a response, and that's just the very basics of it. Again, we'll go hopefully a lot further than just the basics of it. And then your melodic soloing, I'm going to go through a few specific things. That was like a ton of things in one little example, but I'm going to break that down and show you how to use melody and rhythm in combination to make an effective solo. We're going to go through upper extensions, which is like if you have C minor 7, an upper extension would be the 9, because this is the 1, 3, 5, 7, and this is the 9. This is the 11, and this is the 13. Through those upper extensions. We're going to go through jazz vocabulary to give you some like little tidbits of historical pieces that are used in the context of all jazz. That it all stems from enclosures, but there are some extended sort of cliches that you can use. Like that's one of my favorites. You can like what's the other one? Stuff like that, like different things that you've heard that you can use in your jazz solos, but the important thing is going to be how you use them, which will have to do with the motivic development that we'll discuss in that video. All right, we're gonna discuss enclosures, like I said, which is like if you want to enclose a D, you enclose it by like whole step, half step, and then hitting it. I just enclose the B, and then enclose the E there, you know? D, G, A. The final step that we're going to take here is making a practice schedule to tie all of this together so that you can do the step-by-step things that you'll need to do in order to go from just a good classical player to somebody who can really hold their own in a jazz context. So yeah, stay tuned for the rest of my videos. This is just the introduction video, but I'll be putting them out every week with the rest of these items that I'm about to discuss. So I hope this helps a lot. Please leave some comments. Let me know what other videos you want to see, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.